Draft is not a luck-based game mode, or at least it's not as bad as it used to be. I know, sometimes you do get unlucky and lose a match due to the matchup, but more often than not, you could have either picked a better draft or have just played better throughout the match, because trust me, you can outplay some difficult situations if you have the correct approach. Hey guys, it's right here, and today we're going to be going over 3 of my quickest draft tips to instantly up your draft game. Then I will attempt to push to top 50 in the current draft global tournament. Now, before we get into the video, if you could please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, as well as check out my socials, links in the description. Any support would be greatly appreciated. And with that out of the way, let's get right into it. Number 1. Balance of swarms and tanks. One of the biggest issues that I personally have in draft is that I often draft way too heavy and pick cards that are simply too high in elixir. When drafting, it's good to make sure that you not only have some sort of tank, but you also have some swarm as well. Since you only have control of half of your deck, it's important to make the best of it. This way, if your opponent has a lot of splash units, you can focus more on your heavy hitters, and if your opponent has a lot of single targeting units, you can focus a lot more on your swarm troops to overwhelm your opponents. Number 2. Counters. Draft picks are usually always chosen for 4 different reasons. 1. One card is an obvious better choice than the other. 2. You want to take away a counter from your opponent. 3. You want to give yourself a counter to your opponent. Or 4. If you don't want to face a certain card. If you pick most of your drafts on this mindset, you'll be much better off with your picks than you would without them. Number 3. Play passive. In 90% of my draft matches, I am not making the first move. This is for a few reasons. Obviously, if you play more reactively, you'll always end up on being defensive first. This means that you're able to make positive trades on defense much more easily. Also, if you wait for your opponents to move first, there's much of a less of a risk of you running into a direct counter or wasting one of your essential counter cards. Finally, if you wait for double elixir time, the cards will be much more easy to play as you have a little more elixir to play around with. In fact, in a majority of the games that I lose in the draft game modes, it's actually because I played way too aggressive than I should have. So, if anything, this is the point that I would personally stress the most. Alright, now that was all talk, let's go ahead and dive into a few matches. Alrighty, so as you can see, right now we are at 25 wins in this global tournament. Top 50 only has 26 wins. So let's go ahead and see if we can push ourselves into top 50 in this current draft global tournament. Alrighty, so I'll be into this match. We're going to be against the King Pasho, and here we're going to go to pick the bomb tower over the witch, actually, just because the bomb tower does splash out the witch. It's a direct counter. Here we're going to go with that E-Wiz over the spear goblins. And we're gonna go with Fireball over the Zap, and then here, I think I'm gonna actually go in. This is really difficult. 8 seconds left. I think we're gonna go ahead and go with the balloon, just because the balloon is a much more threatening, I guess, kind of kill card. Plus, if I pick the graveyard, then my opponent already has the witch, so that witch would just absolutely obliterate the graveyard. So anyways, here, let's see. Looks like we have an Expo, so that's definitely gonna be very, very interesting. Again, I'm not going to be making the first move. He's gonna go with Spear Goblins at the bridge, so I'll just go with Ice Spirit right there. As you can see, if you let one of the Spear Goblins connect onto the tower, then that will actually deal the least amount of damage when countering with an Ice Spirit. So obviously, with draft, it's also really important to know like a ton of different micro interactions. It'll definitely help, especially if you have a more difficult matchup. So again, we're just gonna be waiting. Okay, he's gonna go with a goblin gang at the bridge. Let's go ahead and go with a bomb tower right there that'll splash out those goblins right there. And let's see, we do have the balloon in our hand right now, and he's used 3 of his air targeting cards. So we're gonna be very, very cautious of what air cards he has in hand. So he obviously has the witch and the 2 goblin cards, and he has a goblin cage as well, and bomb tower's doing some good work, splashing out some of the skeletons. Never mind, it's not. But anyways, here we're gonna go ahead, as soon as the bomb tower goes down, just reset with a nice little Expo right there in the center. And actually, yeah, let's just go with a goblin giant instead. That way we can tank for the goblin brawler. So let's see here. He's gonna go with a lumberjack in the back, and the spear goblins right there will take care of all that stuff. And now we're gonna go with our defensive Expo. Expo. It'll help snipe out that lumberjack right there, and also provide some more defensive value for us in case we want to go ahead. Oh, he's gonna go the golem in the back, so that means it's time to go in. Balloon opposite lane with that ice spirit followed up, and let's see here. That's gonna go ahead freeze some of those goblins, but the balloon will hopefully get 2 hits onto the tower. I'm hoping it does. No, only 1 hit, so that's not too good for us. But let's see here. Fortunately, we do have a ton of buildings, but this is going to be a really difficult defense, guys. So let's go with the bomb tower right there. We're going to go ahead. Let's see here. Let's see, fireball into all of that stuff right there. Let's go with an E-Wiz as well. Wow, that doesn't kill the witch. Oh my god. Okay, this is not too good. Let's go with a bandit right there to pull everything. Let's go with an ice spirit to kill that witch. And okay, there we go. We actually managed to defend that push relatively well. So he's gonna go with another goblin cage in the back. Let's just go ahead and go with an Expo to go ahead and snipe that goblin cage down. So now let's see, let's go with a Goblin Giant right there to defend against his graveyard. And look at that, defensive Expo will help a lot. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. That's going to be a really easy defense right there. And let's see here. Goblin Giant's putting in work, and here let's go ahead and go in with a balloon bandit push right here. Let's go with a quick fireball right there, see if we can take that stuff down. And let's see here, Goblin Cage goes down. Let's go with an ice spear to pull that lumberjack, and the balloon, no, it does not get any hits onto our tower. So here, let's go ahead quickly E-Wiz onto all that stuff right there. And ooh, okay, that's really unlucky. All that timer stuff's blocking the troops, and ooh, this is actually really difficult. So let's go with a Goblin Giant right there, and then a balloon right at the bridge, because the only way he has to distract is that Goblin Cage right there. And once that Goblin Cage goes down, there is nothing stopping the balloon from getting to the tower. Fireball will stun that witch right there, and that's gonna be balloon connection, tower down, and GG right there. Really good match. Even though we did have a pretty decent matchup, a few of the interactions were still a little bit sketchy. Alrighty, so hopping against this next match, oh my god, we're gonna be against the same person again. So here I'm gonna go ahead and actually pick the minion horde over the mega minion, just because it's good to have a little swarm in your deck. And here let's go with a royal giant. Why? Because the minion horde will very easily counter that graveyard. Here we'll go with that goblin Barbell right there, followed up with the Goblin Gang. Again, we're loading up on our spam cards to counter his graveyard. So as you can see, going into this match, things are already looking pretty good. We have a ton of spam units to counter his graveyard. We have a spawner building. We have the Royal Giant, which is one of the best win conditions in the game right now. And he's going to go with the Goblin Giant in the back. So here we're going to go with a Royal Giant. The Goblin Giant will cross the bridge first and hopefully tank for some hits from that Royal Giant. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and follow up with a minion horde as well as soon as those spear goblins on the back of the Goblin Giant lock on. And as you can see, the minion horde just putting in work. That's why I love picking this card. If your opponent just doesn't have an answer, that is going to be really deadly for your opponent. So here, as you can see, that Dark Prince will take care of that tombstone right there, and that's going to be another massive connection onto the tower. And he can't do anything but just spam those laughing emotes as the tower goes down to 710. And he hasn't even done a single HP of damage to our crown tower. So things are looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and reset with the Goblin Hut. And he's going to go opposite lane with that Goblin Giant. So we're just going to try and rinse and repeat the exact same thing. We're going to go ahead and go with the Royal Giant, hopefully. Actually, depending on what he's going to do, we might do something different. Let's actually use the Goblin Hut to tank, and then go with a Goblin Gang right there to defend. So far, he hasn't shown any kind of spell, at least. So here, let's go with Minion Horde as well as all that stuff. Unfortunately, we are quite low on elixir, so let's go ahead and send in a miner. Some of the minions actually go help defend the graveyard, and look at that. That tower of his goes down to 375, down to hopefully below 300 HP, while he's barely done any damage off of our tower. So this game is probably already in the bag. 10 seconds left until double elixir time. He's gonna go with the Goblin Giant right there, but we are going to very easily take care of all this stuff. Let's go with the Dark Prince. Ooh, we unfortunately missed the pull on that Mega Minion. Let's go with the Goblin Gang to try and take that Mega Minion out right there. Nice and easy. We have so much damage left on our tower. Ooh, okay, that Mega Minion actually did a ton of damage onto our tower. So we have to be really careful right there. Let's go with another Royal Giant in the back. This way, if he decides to Goblin Giant, the Royal Giant can tank. Here, let's go with a miner. We do want to finish off that tower since we don't have a big spell of our own. And there we go. Tower goes down. Let's go with the Goblin Hut right there. And 30 seconds left. Let's go ahead and see what we're going to do. Let's go with the Minion Horde right there. And that'll pretty easily take care of all of his stuff. Mega Minion, Lumberjacks, all going to go down. And let's see, let's go with another Goblin Giant right there. 17 seconds left. Let's see here. We're gonna go ahead and go with a Goblin Gang, hopefully, to predict his graveyard right there. And let's see, 8 seconds left. Let's just go ahead and freeze that Goblin Giant right there, followed with a Bar Barrel as well. And ooh, that tower's down to 102 HP, just barely scraping away. Even if that tower would have gone down, I'm pretty confident I could have taken his left tower as well. So as you can see, super duper solid victory. And there we go. That's gonna push us up into the top 50 of this draft global tournament right there. 27 wins, nice and easy. 36th in the world right now, so super duper excited. Ooh, looks like the top guy's playing right now, so let's go ahead and pull him up right there as we end this video. But unfortunately, guys, that's all I've got time for in today's episode. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below, as well as a subscription to my channel. And as always, this is Legendaray, and I'm signing off. See you guys next time.